Dragon Roaches. Imagine a Bile Titan given wings and turned into a Hydra. Kill one and two more take its place. These here sky chickens breathe fire, so go ahead and wear some fire resist armor if you want to avoid some extra damage, and do be warned, they can also headshot you. There have been claims of questionable hitboxes. We're going to ignore those for now and talk about how to slay and survive these Titan terrors of the skies. We had our talented in-house artist sketch a weak point outline for this here anemic flying squirrel, that we can understand the heavy pin, light pin, and I don't know areas for the front and for the back. Hopefully it helps you in some way. We'll begin with trying to figure out the true weak spot of a dragon roach. Many folks may assume it's the wings, and you'd be wrong, unless you're using the napalm expendable. That thing can one-shot to the wings fairly often. It's not guaranteed, but normally if you hit the wings semi-decently, it's going down, and it looks freaking sick. There's one more powerful exception, the hot dog strafing run. Toss that sucker in sideways, hit it from the wingspan essentially, and you can one-tap it, in essence. In reality, many bullets are hitting it, but we still take those. If you know someone's already thrown the whole kitchen sink at a dragon roach, there's no harm in shooting the wings, especially using a ballistic fire weapon that can reach. Light it on fire, doing some decent damage, it'll likely kill over. It may be hard to prove, but these pterodactyls don't seem to play by the laws of aviation whatsoever. Looking like Swiss cheese, but they're flying just fine. What about the forehead? Turning the lights out on a sky chicken in Narnia is a great feeling, especially if you can one-tap it with various different weapons. But normally, they'll be up close and personal. Wait for the initial fire attack where it makes a sound, goes in directly towards your crew, and then headshot it there. I'd recommend getting proficient at landing this shot. Your other options aren't as good. After the initial swoop, it then turns a bit, and it stays level for about a half second or so. Then it'll either go up or down, it depends, and go for the second attack of fire, which will blind you, so hitting the shot there is a bit difficult. Afterwards, it will decide if it wants to dip out insanely fast or stick around for a bit. Anti-tank is the ideal weaponry to have when you're this close to the Dragon Roach. Recoilless Rifle, Quasar, Eat 17. Those three will one-tap it, but they do require some actual aim. You have the Commando, that takes 2 shots, and the first one will stagger it, making it difficult to land the follow-up hit. Now Spear is likely the best option for folks that don't want to deal with the nonsense, and the only thing you must keep an eye on is going to be if it bobs up, you don't want to shoot. You'll likely miss the one tap. If it bobs down, fire away. And make sure it's focusing you. Or you have a clear view of the freaking noggin. To hopefully lessen confusion, Dragon Roaches and Bile Titans have pretty much the exact same breakpoints on their forehead. Not the mouth, but the top of their dome skis. The difference is, one stationary and looks kind of down and spewing at you. The other one's flying in the air, weaving and ducking your shots like he's Neo in the Matrix. So it's a bit more difficult to land the shots on Dragon Roach. What about the green sacks on the undercarriage? You can break those, except it doesn't change anything that meaningful. It'll still spew fire endlessly, and this area seems to have a particularly high explosive resistance. I sat there for 12 minutes firing a grenade launcher, and it just flapped its wings menacingly. The top of the noggin is the truest weak spot for now, and any weapon that has heavy armor pin can damage it, or higher, but do be warned, the guns that are heavy pin will likely take longer to kill it. The longer it takes you to kill it, the more of them spawn, and that's also why a certain fan favorite stratagem is nowhere near as good as folks believe it to be. I made a poll with 4 decent options against Dragon Roach, and 43% said the Roaches Strike was the best choice. And it does one shot, that is for sure. Just make sure you toss it whenever it's done with its landing, that way it's in one spot. The thing that folks aren't accounting for is the spawn rate of Dragon Roaches, which I do believe increases as you increase difficulty, and if not, it's still pretty freaking high on level 5, which is the lowest you have to be for them to spawn in the first place. 2 are going to be spawned before my cooldown's even up. And if it gets higher or faster spawn rate than that, good luck. Now granted, you could have teammates that all have Roaches Strike. Sure, but you could also just bring 2 strafing runs, you both toss it in, it'll kill the Dragon Roach. Even if you have no ship module upgrade, at least it did for me the one time I tried it, so maybe there's some nuance there, but it worked once. It may work more than once, who knows? Maintaining the automated approach, take a rocket sentry and have the ship modules for extra ammunition and damage, especially damage, and this thing kind of slays out. Turn speed's also pretty good to have too. You need a lot of ship modules, so I still think it's great. It can kill 2 Dragon Roaches fairly quickly, fairly easily. The only caveat is it does die to fire. So if you get unlucky, the fire can take it out instantly. In this case, though, it's getting hit by 2, if not 3 lines of fire, and it still stayed alive, which is pretty huge. If it lands all shots, it's about 5 hits to the noggin on a Dragon Roach, but even the turret has a hard time tracking its movement. Sky Chickens will hard focus on your rocket and autocannon sentries, and sort of focus on Tesla towers, while pretty much ignoring your machine guns, at least in my experience, and machine guns don't target them whatsoever. Emplacements die at a perplexing speed. If you're going to use them, I recommend taking the anti-tank and sniping Dragon Roaches from Narnia the best of your abilities, because it's pretty accurate, you get pretty fast rate of fire. That's your best bet. The moment they get close, you can't even turn it to hit them with that weapon, and HMG emplacement takes a lot of bullets from range. Speaking of range, your easiest option for your long-range kill is going to be the solo silo, if it decides to kill it. Sometimes instead, it gives him an engine upgrade like the turtle from Bugs Bunny. If you'd like some more Looney Tunes shenanigans, get ragdolled by your own silo, preventing you from holding down the fire button and tracking it with a laser beam to make sure it hits the target properly, and instead, it circles the airspace looking for its prey. Sometimes it finds it, sometimes it won't. The weapon I like the most against Dragon Roaches is Ultimatum. Ideally, with a supply backpack, you can actually lob the projectile further than you think by having a different gun equipped, or at least the Ultimatum stowed, swap to Ultimatum while holding down the fire button, and that should lob it about twice the distance. If you land it, chances are it's a one-shot. Occasionally, the game wants to rob you and say, no brother, that doesn't count, and matter of fact, the next shot also doesn't count. A Dragon Roach survives 2 Ultimatum hits to the body, where sometimes it dies to 1. When it works, though, it's fantastic. Nothing else comes close to killing them as quickly when you're chilling by yourself. Flamethrower can barely reach a Dragon Roach occasionally. This means you have no direct damage output with the weapon, and even using a hover backpack, you still can't get to it because every time you move forward, it moves backward. You can use that to your advantage and walk a Sky Chicken under a Hell Pod and have it hit its neck area. That's an instant kill guaranteed. If you happen to get one-tapped by a Bruce Lee watching Sky Chicken while wearing heavy fire resist armor, that part matters, this is what the spot looks like from a different angle. It's that right there. That's the one. When living isn't an option, but a Hellbomb backpack is, arm that thing and walk the Sky Chickens into it. I went the wrong direction, little U-turn action, and just keep cutting them into the explosion. If there's someone above it, everything's gonna die. Do not for a second be misled into believing the mech suits are good against Dragon Roaches. In 2 fire strikes, your arm is gone. Sometimes both arms. And to kill it, you're ragdolling it the entire time, making precision shots on the freaking noggin borderline impossible to have them be consecutive, because you're making it flinch constantly. Killing it before it can touch you is the best way to avoid damage. If you can't do that, bring fire resist armor, because every other option, you're likely going to take some form of damage. You can use a ballistic shield and block the fire damage that hits you directly. Just be careful of the stuff on the ground because it still does hit the ground. If you walk over it, you're still on fire. Shield backpack is a bit inconsistent because the hitboxes are a tad questionable. Sometimes the shield breaks and then you're on fire. Other times the shield's intact and you're still on fire. The directional shield, that one's a bit interesting. I feel like it doesn't really block fire that well at all. There was an instance where it kind of did, but not really. Bubble shield emplacement, it's pretty decent. You will have cases where sometimes Dragon Roaches put their head into the bubble itself and they're spewing fire. That's when it hits you. If they don't do that, then it mitigates a lot of fire damage because they don't actually break the bubble by themselves. Even having 3 at one time, the bubble seems to be max HP. If you want to live longer, do not run with the pathing of the fire strike. If it's coming at you, in this case, this direction, don't run that same direction. You'll get headshot the entire time and die as quickly as possible. Even in fire armor, you'll be taking so much damage that there's no point. Be careful of hills. Dragon Roaches can lay hands and feet on you if you're up too high. And if you kill one, be wary of their wings that are still moving. Those are active hitboxes. And also look for cover. Caves and even the regular Shrakir hotels, when they're broken down, they still have those little coves that give you decent blockage from the fire attack. I'm going to quickly mention my thoughts on the Dragon Roach. They're hydras. You kill one and 18 billion take its place. They're fun to kill, they look fantastic. The issues are they're not particularly fun to play against. I think the spawn rates would be completely fine if they weren't so tanky, they didn't headshot you and kill you so quickly, and didn't sort of enforce the idea of fire armor, which is likely due to these scuffed hitboxes. You fix those aspects, you can keep the spawn rates. I think it's fun to shoot down these kinds of enemies. They just have to be a little bit easier to kill, because having a deadlier, more mobile, and harder to hit enemy than the ground variant doesn't make that much sense. It'd be cool too if you could break the wings and have it go to the ground, changing phases, so to speak, but I'm not saying that has to happen. It's just a nice little aspect. Almost as nice as these custom stickers: Billy Bob, Wilbur, Meat Bob, and of course, movement. Sticker pack down below, $8 global shipping. My brother messed it up, now it's fixed. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and show some weapons that I didn't really talk about too much in the video, with some raw gameplay and light commentary. Wasp takes roughly 3.5 canisters if you shoot whenever you possibly can, not worrying too much about the perfect window of opportunity. Epoch is a 2-tap if you land every shot on the forehead with max charge. If you land on the body instead, it should be 3. If you hit a wing, it will be 4. Airburst rocket launcher seems a bit questionable. Maybe you can try and fire it above the wings and have the shrapnel go down. I didn't have too much luck with it, as you can see. Spear gun is pretty fun to shoot. Every time you hit it, it staggers, and so the first fire strike, you can make it miss you entirely. Second one, not so easy. You also apply the gas effect, or a reduced version of it, every time you hit it. Still a lingering damage over time effect. It takes a long time to kill it though. Whatever railgun is, essentially double that, that's CTDK for headshots. Laser sentries, keep it in mind, if your aim is too perfect, you will get banned from the lobby. So it has to miss a little bit. Autocannon Sentry is one of the choices of all time against scout chickens. Takes forever to acquire target. Once it does, fires off maybe a volley and a half if you're lucky. That was just a single volley, 3 shots, that's it. And then from there, chances are it fires off into a random crowd of enemies, or in my case, nothing. When it's trying to shoot, it probably couldn't hit to begin with, and instead it's just going to be putting rounds into an already dead Dragon Roach. What are we doing? C'est quoi les canon? Solo silo. Hold the fire button to get a laser so you can track the target. Spear, in my experience, can always 2-shot to the body. Anti-material rifle is currently bugged, and the handling is atrocious as a result. That being said, enough bullets will put down the beast to the forehead. Make sure when it gets kind of close to you, it's actually attacking you or your homies, you change the scope range from 200, 100 to 50 meters. $500 kg may shock it. It's a tough time killing a Bile Titan on the ground, pretty much direct hitting it. But this thing, there's a few stories in the air. One tap. Wild, I know. 110mm rocket pods. I've heard many folks say they can one-tap it. Never had it happen. Tested it multiple times, by the way, not just once. So maybe there's a host plug in effect with that. I don't quite know. But these always took me 2 hits to kill it. Eagle Strike had the same deal, where no matter what, I could not one-tap the Scotch Chicken. With multiple hot dog tosses, by the way. Emancipator Exosuit takes almost the same rounds to kill a Scotch Chicken as it would a Leviathan. Let that sink in for a moment, and the main reason is a lack of precision. You cannot sit there aiming for only the face. It'll take too long. Heavy machine gun will kill it in a few business days or your money back guaranteed. De-escalator, also known as the de-escalator, has apparently received an unintentional nerf or something. Folks are saying it does a lot less damage, like it's even voteless. Haven't quite tested it to full potential, but I do know it takes a year and a day to kill a sky chicken. Do keep in mind that most of the clips are level 5 difficulty. The Dragon Roach HP does not change on difficulty, but the enemies that attack you do. So as you increase it, things may seem a little bit worse or better than they currently are in the gameplay you're seeing. So take the info as you will, apply it how you see fit, combo some stuff, and for the level all that's holy, someone explain how that doesn't one tap. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and as always, have a good day.